Hello, my name's Ben Palmer. I work within the staffing industry, done so for 14 years. I have a number of business interests, and about 8 months ago I set up a company called Cat Services, and I'm currently front of house. I've got an offshore team of 8 people, and they're currently building up the blockchain community worldwide. I use automation software to communicate to people, and I've also got a thought leadership piece. So I've written over 100 articles which are on LinkedIn and on my website, and I've been interviewing thought leaders globally and sharing these interviews with this community that I've been building up. So typically I'm placing blockchain architects, AI architects, cyber architects, other leadership roles. And by a nice coincidence, I've actually interviewed both of the panelists, and they're on SoundCloud and iTunes. So I've looked at my traditional recruitment model within the blockchain community, and I'm using a number of different strategies in terms of communicating to people, so outsourcing, automation, and a number of digital marketing methods. So that's myself. Over to Yanis.
Thank you, Ben. So my name is Yanis Kalfoglou. My background when I'm sitting here on the panel today is I have a background in artificial intelligence since the mid-90s. I have a PhD in AI and 6-7 years of postdoc in the areas of semantic web and ontologies. I have a number of years with background with regards to R&D, commercial and academic R&D, and for the past 5 years I'm involved with blockchain. I used to work for one of the large global asset managers in the capital markets, and also been involved with startups, advising and road mapping for this technology.
Thank you. So my name is John Butelu. My background is electrical engineering, master in electrical engineering from France, master in electrical engineering for computer science and machine learning and AI in about like 2009, so a bit younger than you. But so I've been involved in blockchain since 2011. I've been building different companies, and lately I've been building IDbox.io, a unique identification system for emerging market and developing countries, and a project called Flying Carpet, which is a decentralized autonomous transportation system based on machine learning, AI, and blockchain, and also different kind of algorithm.
So what is the state of AI today, and are we making progress to achieve artificial intelligence?
Yes, that's an interesting question. The state of progress for AI is definitely very encouraging. There is a lot of things going on in the AI world. We are now at the stage that in terms of transcription of text and translation, machines under certain circumstances beat humans. They can actually have lower error rate. This is only just a few months ago, which is great. Of course, everybody's following the news. We have things like machines beating the Jeopardy and AlphaGo and all these things that they always grab the media attention. But I think the most important thing in terms of progress is that AI is going through phases. It's been around for close to 60 years, unlike what most people think it's only a recent thing. It's very popular these days with this kind of deep learning and neural networks renaissance that is going on, even though they started from the 70s. And there is a number of reasons for that. One is because hardware became cheaper, which means that we can actually store data a lot cheaper and more data. And usually the vicious cycle is you have more data, you have better models produce better results, and then the user is happier and then contributes more data, and then it's going on and on. However, even though everything looks so exciting, which is a really fascinating field, and you have applications from healthcare and home care robots to voice chat and robot advisors in the financial markets, self-driving cars. If we're closer to achieve true artificial intelligence, I don't think we are close enough. Just to give you an idea, a lot of the things try to emulate or imitate human intelligence. And for the past 15 years in neuroscience and understanding how the brain works, we learn more than we knew for the entire history of humanity. So basically, we still try to figure out how these things in between our ears work. It's incredible that a young child just only need to see a picture of something to understand what it is, whereas top neural networks need to feed them 50 million pictures of something, right? It doesn't mean we're not going to go to that stage, but I think we need to sort of pace ourselves for it. There is a lot of things with regards to emotional intelligence, understanding context, consciousness of systems, then goes to epistemology of AI. So these are not really fully explored yet. So I would say it's fascinating, it's exciting, but maybe we're not going to see true AI for a little while yet.
Thanks, Yanis. Question to Julian. what is the state of big data today? Are we managing successfully the deluge of data? And are we making the most of it?
I think we're actually not handling all the amount of data because we need to analyze data. And what we've been doing over the past many decades is people are trying to dig into the data and trying to analyze, trying to understand the data. But with the coming blockchain, all the different blockchain infrastructure, then you can plug some AI agent into it, and then those AI agents can start learning about different patterns that even humans don't understand how it works. So that's the big challenge of AI and all this AI agent is to come up with some new models, algorithm model and different patterns to solve some issues or some different problem, even that. And the human, at the end of the day, that's what we call in machine learning or deep reinforcement learning, that black box. They do the job, but we don't actually know how actually it works inside. And this is what is coming. It's some AI agent being able to understand or filter the different data. And blockchain will help for that because blockchain will be an infrastructure that will be sharing data across different kind of structure. You need to pay for that, you need to pay for the data. So even enemies of competitors and different companies will be able to sell their own data to each other to build like bigger AI agent or decentralized autonomous organization.
Question to both of you, if that's okay. What is the state of blockchain today? Are we transforming industries and empowering individuals?
I think a bit of both. In my experience, and I'm coming heavily from an enterprise world, not just the sort of startup consumer world, is I think we are transforming industry, but empowering individuals maybe not as much as we wanted to. So, things like, provide for the unbanked and, being able to making everybody transact energy and these kind of things. Doesn't mean we're not going to go there. I think blockchain is a thing that kind of caught the attention of the financial services institutions first. Now obviously spreads pretty much everywhere. And I think it's one of the reasons why we've seen a lot of progress in that domain. But then consumer is actually coming very strong. And, Julian is involved in a lot of ventures that involve the consumer benefit for blockchain. I think it's fascinating that it touches basically every industry. It's not only specific to one industry. And it's a technology because of its decentralization nature and distributed, has a very low entry barrier. I think that's extremely important there.
Julian, your thoughts?
Oh yeah, it's actually much better now. I don't see we're actually focusing on people. So if you look at all the different project ICOs and different ideas, they all focus on how to make quick monies. So that's the reality of things. You've got just a few projects that focus on trying to help people. But I think developing country or emerging market, even if your goal is to make money, if you talk about 1.5 billion people, I think you can also make a lot of money, but also help people at the end of the day, So you've got a choice. Do you want to make a lot of money and that's it? Or do you want to make a lot of money plus do something good in society? So depends on what you want to do.
Question to Yanis. Can blockchain benefit from AI? If so, how?
I believe it can, yes. So blockchain, despite its remarkable progress in such a short period of time, I think it's more or less close to 10 years, and if you like the big upscale implementation of blockchain, less than 5, even that's a bit stretched, possibly less than 3. There are a few issues which are being resolved rapidly, but one of them, for example, it's energy consumption. All this cryptographically based technology and algorithms are really great for the security of aspect and also trusting the much we don't know, but at the same time there is a price to pay, and that is consuming huge amounts of energy, electricity basically. So how does AI can help there? Well, AI is not an electricity generator, but AI is extremely good at optimization. So has been around optimization techniques based on AI. It's been around for close to 30, 40 years now. It's been improving almost on a yearly basis. An optimizer based on AI technology can bring a much better consensus infrastructure for a blockchain, which in fact will have a knock-on effect on the energy expense to run your blockchain. That's one area. Another area that can help is with regards to with regards to data. So data that can be used on blockchain can have some kind of an AI agent, as Julian already alluded, which can actually orchestrate the federated status of the blockchain. At the moment, it is in theory relatively easy to distribute the ledger and download and inspect the ledger, but pragmatically speaking, it's not that easy. You see a lot of congestion in the network, especially when it comes to the tokenization of the blockchains themselves. And the third area that can be used to help is looking at the advances in AI that allows us to interact with the environment in different modalities, as people say. So things like keyboards are becoming pretty much out of fashion. People interact with voice these days. So think of Siri, Alexa, Cortana, Bixby, these kind of things. So one could imagine that AI technology wrapped up in an interesting technology offering can help you as a consumer to actually power up your own smart contracts, right? Smart contracts pretty much, it's the most important contributions of blockchain in terms of automation, but yet you need very skillful engineers and a task force to actually codify the smart contracts and deploy them on the network. They're pretty much out of touch with the consumer, but AI can actually help bridge that gap there. So you can literally just talk to your smart contract and automatically build it up and go do whatever the smart contract wants to do for you. That's some of the areas that AI can help blockchain.
Thanks, Yanis. A question back to Julian. Is data the oil of the 21st century economies? If so, what can we do to make the most of it?
The question is, do you think that data is the next kind of oil? That's the question. Yeah, I think, well, as you explained very well, data is the biggest, it's actually more important than money at the moment. Because it's worth a lot of money for different companies like Google and Facebook, and I think what AI can do for each of us, because at the moment, like all those big corporations like Facebook and like Google and all this stuff, they're using our data and they're selling on the public market, and that's true. So I think this kind of AI agent, what we're trying to build, and if it's open source or whatsoever, we'll be able to take care of your own data and sell it for yourself. So basically, you'll be able to make money. That's what we're trying to build. I mean, I'm doing this side project on this as well. So you basically generate your own data, you generate your daily life data. Like imagine you've got your phone, GPS location, or any kind of data that is generated on your phone. This data can be sold. At the moment, it's actually sold on the public market, but by Android or Google and all those guys. What you can do, you can have those AI agents that take care of your data and then sell it back, so you can make a kind of a lot of money. And blockchain is used as a trust infrastructure, because at the moment when you generate data, like the bank probably is tracking you, what you're doing, or all the kind of purchases you're doing every day, single day, and then they sell it. The thing is, like, you cannot make 100% sure that this data that you're trying to buy is 100% accurate. Well, blockchain can be used for a supply chain of data. So from A to Z, you verify the data is being collected and is being created is 100% accurate. And so then when you're trying to buy it, you're 100% sure this information is correct. So, yeah, I think data and AI, you shouldn't. I'm a bit scared of AI, what we're building on this stuff, but at the same time, it's a massive potential for an individual and for humans to, as an individual, to empower your own social interaction and the own data you're creating. So you become like a micro business yourself.
Thanks, Julian. Back to Yanis. Can AI benefit from blockchain, and if so, how?
Yes, it can. If I can put a disclaimer there, in the blockchain community, the AI world is known, obviously, and there is a few interesting trailblazing projects that have been going on. On the other hand, in the AI community, blockchain is not a much spoken word. AI people I don't think it's not that interested. It's a footnote in what they do. However, blockchain has very interesting properties which can help AIs. In general, people call them AIs these days. So one of them is obviously the explainability problem, which Julian alluded is the black box. There is a lot of very interesting innovations lately with deep learning networks, but some of them are extremely complicated. They have hundreds, if not thousands, of hidden layers. They might spit out the right results, the answer you want, but you want to know how did you reach to that answer. And that is extremely hard, sometimes even mathematically not provable. And that is not necessarily the best situation to be in, because in less than 4 months' time, we're going to have GDPR in this region. And it's very reasonable for a consumer perspective to want to know why did you refuse credit, or why did an organization did X, Y, Z. And of course, the answer cannot be, oh, because the AI system told me so. And if people don't take it seriously, 4% of their global revenue is at stake. So how then blockchain can help there is because once you apply the AI system, you can actually record every single step that's going on in a blockchain. And of course, we're talking about blockchain, therefore it is immutable, it is tractable, you have a very intelligent track and trace that at any point in time you can go back and say, okay, I made this decision because of this, this, and that. So you can actually reconstruct the whole line of thought, so to speak. So that's one area where blockchains could be used for AI. Another area is data. Modern AI, as opposed to the good old-fashioned AI, is very data hungry. I mean, literally just tons of data. The problem is that, as Julian alluded, unfortunately, it's a game for the rich. So, the Googles, the Amazons, the Facebooks, the Microsofts, they have the capacity to suck in all this massive data, either acquire them or, hey, they use all your data without giving them permission. Just click on accept, and they get all your data for free. So, for the simple things like CAPTCHA, if you try to authorize something and they give you the images, oh, is that a road, is it a... But you actually do that without you knowing. You train a neural network behind it, right? Interesting. Of course, you can't not to train it because then you won't be able to get into your password, but that's what they do. So then how this can be changed with the blockchain world? Well, there is this community out there which says, look, it's your data. You can take full control of your data, and having a blockchain system underneath feeding the AI system with data, then you can have federated data, data that are validated, data that you know their provenance. One of the biggest problems with AI at the moment is that good quality data. Because even if these big global conglomerates, they suck all this data in, most of them are basically, excuse my French here, rubbish data, right? So there is one in San Jose says garbage in, garbage out. So how do you get really good quality data into the AI system to train it in a much faster time and then bring the benefits back? So that's the second area. The third area, which I think we're a bit ahead to do that, is what some people say the decentralized AI. At the moment, a lot of the AI systems, the really good ones that grab the attention and everybody's getting excited, are extremely centralized in how they build, the engineers they bring in, the resources. Well, blockchain can actually break that a little bit, make it decentralized. There is no reason why you can have a reasonably on-device AI on your smartphone and do some simple things like answering the queries and the phone responding immediately without having to connect to the Amazon cloud, which pretty much owns all your data. So these are the three areas I think AI can be of benefit to, blockchain can be of benefit to AI.
Thanks. Yeah. Question to both of you. It's all right to go first, Julian. What are potential applications and benefits for consumers from a hypothetical AI blockchain synergy point of view?
I think I already kind of answered this question. I think blockchain and AI can be used, will be able to empower people. Like, for example, on your own phone, smartphone, you'll be able to generate data, and then you'll be able to sell this data on the blockchain. The question is blockchain and AI both together for humans, and also like in the different companies like renewable energy, global commerce, transportation and all this stuff. I think AI will be able to empower, gather more data and analyze this data to put it on the blockchain, and people will be able to buy this data. I think that's because I already answered this kind of question before. So.
Yanis, any further insights?
I think primarily it's in the consumer space. So there are some very interesting applications in the consumer space that empower the consumer to get most of our data. This is one of the reasons why I'm excited to be involved in the Extensus project that was introduced a couple of days ago, because it actually gives the ability to every individual make the most of their data. They basically own their data because they essentially either generate the data or the data they collect is because of an activity that is purely their own activity. However, at this point in time, a tiny fraction of that data actually monetized or gives them something back. So the combination of AI and blockchain can help do that. AI technology can help automate the trading or monetization of this data. Because let's face it, there are some trailblazing projects out there which try to do that, but the onus on the user or the consumer is really too big. You need to do too much just to trade your data. So AI can help automate that task and make it easier. It's one of the areas consumer applications. Another one is, of course, healthcare. So, as a planet, as a society, we're getting more on this planet. We're getting older. So things like home care, robots, and healthcare, and artificial intelligence applications in healthcare are becoming more common because we will need it in the future. But the problem is, at the same time, mobility becomes a big thing these days. 30, 40, 50 years ago, you wouldn't be able to fly around and go around the world as easily as you can today. And in the future, it's going to be even easier. If you guys following the news, Elon Musk wants to make it easier to fly in 30 minutes from one city to another in the near future. Whether that happens or not, the thing is that with so many people getting mobile and getting older, you will need your healthcare with you. But the problem is then you hit a big wall or jurisdictions and different regulations. If you have a way of carrying that with you by combining blockchain and AI automating the healthcare for you, blockchain improving who you are, then that's one area where it can also help in the near future.
Yeah, maybe I just want. Is that working here? I'm not sure if people realize, but every single day we generate a amount of data that's being sold on a market for big corporation, and this is getting even worse. So you got like IoT devices that you plug into your home, like Nest device, or like Dashcam, or like something that will now Amazon is releasing the door lock, so they can open your door automatically. This kind of data, when they track you and they say they can know specifically at the specific time, where did you open your door, when you're passing by the camera, like Google, I don't want to cite those names, but when they sell a device to you and you buy it for 100 or the new iPhone costs $1,200 US. When you buy this device, at the end of the day, they don't actually care about the cost of the device because you feel like you're buying a product, but at the end of the day, you're not buying a product, they transform yourself into a product. You are the product. So every single day, you just generate for everything. Now, like the car is going to be automated. So the car will generate data. The car will be a Google car. Now they got the phone, they track you every single day. Now they come to your house. So whatever you're doing now, it's just about the data. And you probably say, oh, I don't care, I don't see it. Or I go to Amazon, I go to Facebook and I share everything about my life. You're like, that's fine, as long as I'm safe and they provide me good services. When you get a notification on your phone saying, oh, you should actually turn on your GPS, because if you turn on your GPS, we're gonna send you some good services or some good advertising about good restaurant around you. It's not about that they're doing this, it's just to know where you are. So then they can sell the information to people. So my point is, AI, a blockchain is decentralized. AI is also the most powerful thing that we haven't seen since the creation of humanity. But they can also empower people. So we shouldn't be 100% scared of it. They can also get good, like Yanis mentioned, for healthcare. You can use this data and share across different industry. But I think as an individual, it's the only way to fight and for your right, for your own data is to use this kind of very powerful engine, which is artificial intelligence. We're creating a non-profit foundation in Switzerland for privacy and data. So the first step will be reclaim your data from third-party services. And I think Europe is probably the only one in the world as a global country that is trying to move in a really good, it's trying to do really good stuff. Like the first one is KYC. So they're trying to build a system where you need to, and not KYC, but you need encryption data. So they're building a system where you have end-to-end encryption. So everything you're going to do with third-party services in Europe will be fully encrypted, and no one will be able to hack into it. And secondly, they will also ask for reclaim your data. So basically, no services in Europe will be able to save or store any personal data about yourself, which I think is good.
Thanks, Julian. Last question to both, that's okay. How likely are we to see large-scale synergies between AI and blockchain in the near future? And what are the roadblocks or opportunities to be aware of?
Yeah, if I may go first. So, yes, it is likely to see the synergies. I think there's potential benefits of combining these two powerful mega trends. At the same time, there is roadblocks and opportunities. I think, as I said, these communities need to come closer. AI is a long-running thing. It's not just what became popular in the past 5-10 years. It's been around for 60-odd years. There's a huge body of knowledge there, and there is a massive community because AI touches so many different industries. It's just not a ledger and smart contracts on top of it. It's really, really broad. And at the same time, one cannot say the same for the body of knowledge for blockchain, even though it's really exploded over the past few years. So there is a kind of alignment to do there with regards to awareness. What I said earlier is actually a fact. I've been to many AI events because of my background, and blockchain is simply not in the agenda. And I don't think it's because people scoff of blockchain in the AI world. They simply don't have time for that, right? They also try to figure out what is really the thing about blockchain. And I think as we're going through with blockchain community growing up and the body of knowledge really gets richer and richer and the protocols get better and get faster, then there will be more interaction between the two. I think that is really the massive opportunity there. Once you have the interaction and, sharp minds collide together, then something magic happens. And I think that's really the best opportunity out there. I don't necessarily see any roadblocks in terms of commercials or, conflict of interest. One complements the other. So, all is good.
Thanks, Yanis. Any further insights, Julian?
I think it's at the moment a lot of people are. It's like buzzwords. So they all claim that they do blockchain or they do AI. Well, AI is artificial intelligence agent system. So they probably do machine learning or like advanced algorithm, but it's very unlikely they do actually AI. So yeah, I'm sorry to say that, but so when someone say we're doing AI and all this stuff, yeah, it's just maybe some algorithm. And blockchain, you've got like different kind of problem with blockchain at the moment. I mean, scalability, this stuff, permission blockchain, is that like fully decentralized, fully public. So at the moment there is no one. You got like 2 or 3 of good blockchain that they actually have something, but it's not like fully production mode, because this is always the 3 different aspects of blockchain. You need to be decentralized, you need to be secure, and you need to be scalable, which means fast. And this, if you choose 2 of them, you cannot do the other one. So if someone says we have all those 3, it's probably unlikely that this is true. So I think that 2018 will be, so it will probably be coming from the financial institution, because they've got a lot of money, so they got the power to put in place some stuff. Unfortunately, that would not be for the good of the consumer, because at the end of the day, that will just probably be there to increase their profit, but the end user will still pay a lot of fees to secure or to transfer, even if it will be completely free for the institution, financial institution. So yeah, I think we're actually getting into, last year was a test, what we call a test mode, and test net, and then this year we're probably going to enter production mode, maybe like second quarter of the year. People are starting to use blockchain, but I think at the end of the day, blockchain is just a tool. AI is actually more than a tool; it's a concept. But blockchain is just a tool, just a decentralized infrastructure. So it will be very likely that people will use blockchain without knowing they actually use blockchain. That's what, if we're starting to use systems that use blockchain without knowing this is blockchain, that will enter the mainstream kind of consumerization.
Great. Thank you, Yanis. Thank you, Julian.
Thank you.
Thank you.